off of this Sejuani by constantly scrapping him, similar to what we saw in the previous matchup with that Kayn against the Maokai, and then utilize that power to really snowball the game early through things like dragons. And you have Dom and Kellen as that late game insurance. They are going to be scaling up in the bot lane, and the pressure is not on them to join the scraps.
It's really interesting because you want a lot of melee to pair alongside the Sejuani, but you want way less if you've got a Kayn on the opposing side, and red Kayn is so much more preferred over the blue version. So it's a little bit of damned if you do, damned if you don't on that side of things, but this is definitely a Gen.G composition that they have piloted very well in the past. But Damwon here, you can just look down the line. The amount of comfort is just incredible for this team.
I can't wait. Every single time these two teams have faced throughout this year, it has been incredible. And even this series that started off on such a tough note, that was looking like another 3-0, like we had seen multiple times throughout the quarters, has been brought to a final game. And the iconic picks that we see are Renekton for Nuguri, Showmaker and Syndra, like...
There's just too much already. Dom's Aphelios doesn't need an introduction after the last couple of games, but here we are onto Summoner's Rift, and as you can see, it is Game 5. This is what a lot of us expected would happen after Game 2, have to admit, had my doubts.
And I will say, yeah, very much not in the way that we expected to get here,
That's the
right?
big one.
Because Damwon have just looked better and better and better each subsequent game. And you have to think that if Gen.G has a rough start to this one, it is going to be really hard just mentally to come back into that game, because it has been all Damwon for back-to-back games. And even in that second one, it very nearly was their game as well.
Yeah, and I really do want to add some credit as well to the coaching staff. Like, just saying, Damwon, play comfort. It's Game 5. This is where the nerves really start to play a factor. Well, just play the champion that you have the most muscle memory on.
It's going in again.
Yeah, one more time. Canyon.
It's a red start.
Yeah, just going to steal this one away if he can.
My
I don't
God,
think it's been seen.
Circumventing the ward, he's gonna get 2 camps!
This is brilliant. Like, what are these level 1s? This guy is just too damn good.
He has all of these pre-planned as well. Like, he's done this.
And wait, so what he's gonna do, I wonder, is he gonna camp this brush? He's gonna do red and then camp the brush and potentially wait right there for the Sejuani. You know, try to intercept him as Sejuani is coming down towards Krugs. I wonder if he'll do that, or if he'll run straight towards the Krugs himself. Because we saw him in this last game, you know, when he was playing the Kayn, he got the invade and he looked for the scrap to farm.
There is also priority in both mid and bot side. Dom and Kellen have the advantage for level 2. Peanut's gonna find out.
Yeah, we'll notice that this one has been taken away. Of course, the vision was taken as Canyon, 50%.
Oh, he's showing.
Yeah, Peanut, he's not going to be able to start this one off. And I was really worried. I was like, how is he supposed to make sure that he's hitting the Sejuani as many times as possible to guarantee red Kayn? Well, now Peanut is just going to have absolutely no way to farm his jungle, because that's all Canyon wants to be at.
And look at Ruler and Lehens, right? If Kellen and Dom can get this wave in, Lehens and Ruler can't come. This is so difficult, and Smite is actually available. It's not up for Peanut. Peanut did not have Smite. It just came up now. So Canyon is able to even smite that away, and the harassment continues.
Oh, Canyon going in, but of course.
Going to move on over. Shadow Step gets him over the wall.
And he's completely fine. And now he can clear his entire top half of the jungle. And this has been the game plan for Damwon in every single game. Early prio lanes to enable Canyon. And Canyon is delivering.
I mean, what can you say other than this is what a world championship player looks like, right? This is a world champion caliber jungler here. This guy is playing like he is the best jungler in the world. He is dominating in this series. And when he gets ahead, he feels absolutely unstoppable. How oppressive he has been on Peanut is just remarkable.
Yeah.
Oh, Kellen.
Oh, even that glitter lance from Kellen, just amazing. But Evan Flow should be able to help out here towards the bottom side.
And what has been a part of the narrative for Gen.G for so long, and not just Gen.G, but also all these players that you see on the left half of your screen, is them being unable to cash in, right? Them having so many second places. And it was not until this summer that they were finally able to break free from that.
Oh, Kellen in a lot of trouble here towards the bottom side, but Dom gets the double grab at him to answer back still. The Lulu going to have to be careful, and no summoner spells remain for the Lulu. Also heal invested by Docked Armors. I've seen this movie before, gentlemen, and it doesn't work out very well for the Peanuts.
It doesn't, and this is how the series looked when we go back to spring, right? This is exactly the same type of start. Damwon Kia, again, investing very heavily in early game, and for Gen.G, if they are able to withstand the amount of mental pressure that are on them, not just as a first seed from the LCK, but as a team that historically has struggled so much with actually performing at the highest level when it matters most.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at a guy like Chovy, and for years and years and years, people believe he is possibly, the best laner in the entire world. He's one of the best mid laners in the entire world, but he just doesn't have the teammates. He just doesn't have the surrounding members to really get further in Worlds, and he's never been able to actually advance to the semifinals as a result. This year, there is no such excuse. It is put up or shut up for these players, and the pressure is absolutely monstrous you have to feel now at this point in the game.
Well, Doran throws his boomerang the wrong direction, and that might indicate that there are certainly some nerves here towards this top side at least.
I do want to highlight, though, this is how the game should go. If you look at these two respective drafts, Damwon needs to do this. If they are not able, even with Doctam's Aphelios, I think there's some caveat in the later stages of the game, but into the amount of range and hard engage that Gen.G have later on, you will have to respect, you will have to, again, start stacking those Drakes. So for Gen.G, as long as they don't give up too much gold, don't give up a lot of kills like happened the last time around, they should be able to find angles back into this game.
I mean, there's definitely going to be angles, but I will say, this is nowhere close to the scaling advantage that they had in, for example, the Azir Lulu Jinx game, right? I do think you're looking at Victor versus Syndra and you're saying, yep, you got the late game there. You're maybe comparing something like Sejuani and Kayn and saying, okay, potentially there as well. But the thing is, when you're this far ahead as Canyon, the scaling doesn't really factor into it that much. So I don't think that Gen.G get a free pass just to play for late.
Don't.
I think that they have got to be competitive in the early stages too, because this is a composition that can just run over you. And when you're looking at Lulu Aphelios, you heavily favor the scaling that they have compared to this Lucian Nami. So, really, it might be a slight edge to Gen.G, but I feel like it's kind of a wash.
Yeah, one thing I do want to say is that Doran on this Nah, in times in the past, has found so many of these clutch plays. In the last game, absolutely didn't, but a lot of the plays that made us really realize that Doran is a top caliber player were on this Nah able to find those moments. We'll see whether he can here in the game, in game number 5, because if he does, that's when Gen.G fans truly realize that this is a player to be relied upon. It's Canyon. He's just continuing to be a menace.
Of course. And to me, the deciding factor in this game has been Gen.G has been unable to win any skirmish. It's always been the team fights, the 5v5, sure, but they need to get to that stage. And Damwon is making it so hard for him as Canyon, at the very least, looking to farm some orbs. Look at him, just outside of vision range.
Yeah, he knows the ward is there, but he's just waiting to see if Gen.G's bot lane overcommits, he'll go for them, but otherwise, he just takes the red on respawn, right? Like, he is just living in his opponent's jungle. He is always there on respawn. Peanut's gonna get the bad news. I mean, what can he do about it? He can't win the 1v1, and he can't even really walk the dangerous way because he knows that Canyon could be there, and it's gonna be another red buff going that way. I will say, though, Canyon has not been able to scrap with Peanut as much as he would want. In the previous game, we saw a 10-minute transform. It does not feel like he's anywhere close to that sort of a pace, because he was not only hitting Peanut a lot in that game, he was also hitting the top lane a lot. So he was farming so many of those orbs.
And it's really interesting, especially for Kayn versus Sejuani, where as Kayn, you want melee champions, and so does Sejuani. But neither of them have them, as Canyon.
Yeah, Blades Reach is going to come through, but just base Kayn not exactly going to be doing what he wants to do, especially in comparison to Rast form that he could potentially have, and he just wants to keep hitting Peanut as often as he can. Peanut's going to stick around down here, though, foregoing a lot of his jungle to see whether he can defend this bottom side as Chovy rotating over. Ward goes down, vision available, Scatter the Weak avoided by Chovy somehow, and the gravity field comes in here. Canyon just wearing the Chaos Storm, and Chovy answering beautifully in mid.
Yeah, doing a great job, but Nogri, I believe, maybe already even started the Herald. Looked like he was over in that pit. Perhaps just clearing out a ward. No,
taking it for a walk.
The Herald. That's nice. Shelly spends a lot of time in that pit.
Well, exactly.
She deserves
it's not healthy. You need to get out and move.
And it's been 5 games, and often they just leave it there. And pick it up that way. So, Waller just going to throw the culling at them. Tidal Wave comes in, it's going to interrupt Dum. Wild Growth comes through, can he answer back? My God, the Moonlight Vigil's so good, but Ruler able to get himself out. And I thought that was the catch Gen.G needed.
When will we stop giving Dum a Phalios? This just keeps happening.
I think it might be semi-finals, I don't know.
Unbelievable, as we're scrapping.
Well, Umbral Trespass is going to come through. Peanut just going to bring Canyon as far away as possible. The flash going to come through. That is a fantastic glacial prison as Peanut has to now flash away. Showmaker doing a fair bit of work here as he threw the ultimate through. As the Eye of the Herald is going to come over and the flash has to come out. That is Herald going over to Gen.G, some much needed momentum.
And that's pivotal. Canyon had to smite early there to make sure that he didn't die. And as a result, a little bit disjointed. This is a really, really big win for Gen.G because it buys them so much time.
Absolutely, and as much as it has been an impressive amount of pressure from Canyon, at the end of the day, what is the advantage? You know, it's 400 gold. The Renekton didn't actually have Prio there critically up in the top lane. It was the Gnar coming down first. Renekton could not get there, so as you say, Canyon doesn't have this early transform. He's pressured off, has to early smite. They lose the Herald. They lose Flash off of both Canyon and Showmaker. Flash recently lost as well on Noguri. And you start to realize, hey, Gen.G, I think, are going to be pretty happy about their positioning in this game.
Yep. And it's game 5, and you can see Doran using Cube's skin as well. Cube, of course, was very well known for being pretty good in those game 5s, especially in the regional gauntlet. So a bit of a shout out there. We don't see a lot of using former teammate skins.
No.
Yeah.
So I like the shout out there from Doran, who does do it almost every time he plays now.
And overall, the amount of pressure that Dumlin was able to generate in the very early game, I think would have really snowballed if they had gotten that Herald. But now, Gen.G is on at least, I think, if you're in much better pace, we do see the early Merc threats being picked up by Chovy. And if they can pick up an early Drake, as Kellen needs to be careful.
Well, I mean, it's also worth checking out on the fact no Drakes have been taken, right? You know, we look back to the previous game where it was like, all right, they really have to snowball. Well, they took a 630 Drake. I don't think the pressure is on in the same way to snowball in this game as we had talked about in that previous one. But we are 11:30 into the game. They didn't get the first Herald. They haven't taken any dragons. And when Herald gets dropped here, you know, by Chovy, he can actually get solo plate gold, which is very nice for the Victor and a rare situation for a mid laner to have. Plus, that's going to just even out all of the difference in the gold lead, right? Like, that is the difference right now is these couple plates that he's going to get.
Yep, Gale Force now completed here as well for Dum, which is very, very important. But I do want to, head towards this mid lane and talk about Chovy, the fact that he has been actually falling behind in lane over the last couple of games compared to Showmaker. This time around, though, basically free lane, 10 CS up right now on the Victor, who is generally very, very stable. Of course, 2 limited mobility laners in that mid lane, so it should just be a trade, but Chovy seems back to his old ways as Canyon and Doran just saying hi to each other, but the Shadow Step should allow Canyon to get one over, as now Noguri just going to be alongside Canyon, zoning Doran away.
I actually really like what Doran tried to do there, knowing that his team is playing on the bottom half of the map. He tried to take away camps to deny them to Canyon. Not going to be the case. Canyon is there in time. Chovy, as you were saying earlier, Azil, picks himself up the early solo plate gold. And Doran is actually doing a really good job here, I think, of denying a even bigger snowball. Does give up a plate or two, but you can't stay near to it anyway because you would get dove. And Chovy also bullying out this Kane out of his jungle.
Yeah, another gravity field going to come through here as Canyon should at least be able to try and pressure this one out. Chaos Storm has been invested and Peanut from Fog of War not going to find it, but still a lot of damage. Canyon secures the blue buff, not entirely sure whether that was worth, but it's still going to be first blood going over to Gen.G.
Yeah, the only explanation I have there is Canyon thought he was dead to rights and decides he's going to get XP and a little bit of gold before he goes down. He had no flash, and I believe his E was on cooldown, so definitely a huge first blood going the other way, and Showmaker now no flash either.
Yeah, Bloodhens is surfing down as well. Aqua Prison not quite going to find it, but still, this is Gen.G coming alive in game 5. Chovy secures the second one.
And especially on a pick like Victor that skills and snowballs so well, if he picks up a couple of early assists, helps him towards those evolutions. Gen.G looking revitalized here in game number 5.
There's the Gnar. The Wallop has to be flashed. Boulders flying through, but there are minions in the way, so Noguri's going to survive for now. You can hear New York coming alive in favor of Gen.G right now, but Damwon not out of it just yet. I mean, it's like, what?
It's barely
600 gold?
It starts to feel like all eggs in the Dokkan basket, though.
Hey.
Things not looking that good.
That's where the eggs belong, Azael. That is
That's
where
you're
they
supposed
belong.
to put them.
I mean, Noguri, losing out of that 1v1 very heavily against, it was literally parts of a Phage and Tabby's when he already had the board completed. Showmaker, dies there. The kills goes to Chovy. Chovy also got solo plate gold, so Chovy is over 1,000 now, 1,200 gold ahead in that 1v1.
Oh, Peanut coming down, looking for Dokkan. Winter's Wrath is good as Canyon is going to move in. He detected a melee champion on the Rift, and immediately he's there. But Peanut's going to back away, and Canyon remaining patient as they get the shove towards this outer turret bottom lane.
And considering the history of these two teams and how much they have fought, how hard fought every single game has been, the sidesteps on these bubbles from Callan, absolutely impeccable. But these two teams know each other so well, and I think it shows in so many of the plays that we're seeing around the map. As push comes to shove though, Dokkan says, thank you very much for the first turret bot. Solo gold going over to this Valios, and even though I don't think the front line is nearly as good, and Noguri clearly going for the Prowler Skull build again. With a Lulu, I've seen Dokkan pull up crazier moves.
Yeah, I have a lot of concerns about what the contribution from Canyon is going to be in this game, though.
Yeah.
He is very far down where he wants to be now. Yes, he still has to have a farm advantage, but he's actually down on gold to the Sejuani. He doesn't even have his transform as far as I can see. So it is looking really, really rough. You talk back to last game, he just nonstop got those skirmishes. Peanut has basically just avoided them. He's just refused to give him those fights. And he's the only melee champion on the map, so he can't get the transform.
Yeah, and a lot of the early game we were talking about Peanut, oh, he's playing so scared, this isn't working out. But maybe it's just Peanut recognizing the fact that if Canyon never hits him, it's going to be a much better time for them in the long run. And so that is why he's been playing that way. As I say that, he's just going to walk on over. Canyon brought out of the wall there for a moment.
Come on, Peanut! Atlas is trying to make a point.
Yeah.
How dare you? What I love, though, is Peanut, when you go back and you watch that Spring 2022 Finals Game 5 VOD, it's Peanut that's like, guys, don't worry, we can do this. The man is getting absolutely demolished. Has
His
zero
ego
jungle
is
camp.
not in this game anymore.
Well, that's the
he
point.
just plays for his teammates. As there's the culling, Ruler is going to take Showmaker down to 50% health. And the Syndra is going to have to get out of there. Something has changed in Gen.G. You can feel it.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting that confidence back that we saw in those earlier games. They're getting that swagger. Was a lot committed, though. They did TP up Doran, and Noguri stays bot, so we'll at least get the push. There'll be a couple minions denied here. I'll see if Dokkan over the wall can get anything done.
Canyon dashing forward, just wanting to continue denying camps, but Doran's pretty happy about this. And Base Kane, not really going to be the threat that he was in game number 1. As Showmaker now just getting enclosed on, had to flash, and knew that he was going to have to burn it, and Dalmonk here well and truly on the back foot, even though they still have a gold lead.
I mean, it's a tough one. They do have that gold lead here, but it lies to you a little bit, I think, based on the state of the game. They have no dragons. They haven't really been able to push the game forward that much. They are TPing in here to try to prevent a dive, but there's no wave anymore.
Yeah, Noguri's going to go for it here as the gravity field's going to come down. Chovy taking a lot of damage. Yeah, serrated Dirk and Blade of the Ruin King. Noguri does a lot of work there, but still has to invest a fair bit. And Chovy, his flash is now on cooldown. That's definitely good. But this Drake going over to Gen.G, they're second to the game.
It's still a win, I'd say, for Gen.G, because yes, Dokkan gets more gold, but we are already seeing the fact that Gen.G is like, okay, we are still maintaining some semblance of control. We're trading two Drakes, which means effectively, even if Dalmon in the next 5 minutes completely take over the game, Gen.G can say, okay, that's fine. We'll just hang back and wait till we hit, for example, a death cap on Chovy, and we're going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's no ability to actually force them to come fight at these dragons if they don't want to. And we are now 18 minutes in. Canyon, just now I saw the notification in chat, is near to his transform, right? He had a 10-minute completed transform in the last time he actually played this. So, you talk about trying to take over in the next 5 minutes. At the very minimum, you need to get the transform on Kayn before you can really do much of anything. And Kayn from behind is just so useless.
Yeah.
Kayn from ahead, especially Red Kayn, can just become this drain tanking champion that you can't really punch through.
I'm even wondering, because we have seen Kayn's
Blue
go...
Kayn.
Well, exactly. Because,
With Conqueror and Goredrinker.
Well, that's the thing. We've seen both Red Kayn, and I don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
And as we see...
He's going Black Cleaver.
Yeah, okay, there's no way.
Still hasn't transformed.
No, he
Oh,
doesn't have it yet.
God.
He's
Still
near.
no.
Like you do get some passive generation or whatever. Like eventually
You will get there, but
it's going to be 20 minutes or later before he
double
even
the
has
time.
It. Yeah.
Now he's going
Can't
to
find
shadow step
anything.
forward. Yeah, exactly right. Peanut going to come forward, and Canyon's like, oh, melee champion. But he's not going to be able to get there. And Gen.G just getting so much control. This outer turret, and this is what Ruler loves to do. Just donates the culling right into the bottom lane of Damwon Kia, even though they didn't want it.
And the amount of times we've seen Ruler do this exact move throughout the entirety of summer is insane, right? Like, this is why his Lucian was so highly prioritized by this team, because it helps them so much with taking these mid-game stalemates and turning them into a win for Gen.G. As Showmaker...
Oh, Peanut has done it again. The gravity field is there, the Chaos Storm as well. And yep, you can scatter, but that's not the weak that you're aiming towards.
No, I mean, and Canyon, not able to actually get any sort of pressure here that you would hope against this Sejuani. You would hope that you'd be playing from so far ahead, but it's Peanut really looking strong now in the 5th game, this final game here. And even if the ulti didn't hit, Showmaker's just so far up, you had to think he was dead. He has no flash.
And the amount of times, we've spoken about it already, how many teams Peanut's been on not being able to claim the major prize. And often, he has found himself making ego plays later on. Things like his Lee Sin have definitely been detriments, often in later stages, where Peanut, they're relying on him so much, doesn't actually come through. But this year, it's been very different as
Finally.
20 minutes. And Rast is going to be employed. That is a late transformation, but still, it has come on in. But I'm just so proud of Peanut for being able to get right back on the horse here in game number 5. This is maximum pressure, and he's looking great.
And regardless of the outcome, like, these two teams have delivered so much more than I think was respected of both.
Oh, yeah.
Damwon, after the summer, has had such an incredible resurgence, bringing Gen.G to 5 games, even if it doesn't end up working out in the way that they did, is incredible. And for the flip side on Gen.G, to be known as a team that struggles so much with actually following through, maintaining this level of composure, is looking very, very good.
Absolutely, and they do have that pressure on them. Peanut, you talk about his struggles. For him, it's been more international. The man has won LCK titles on 4 different
he's
teams.
very good at that. But once it gets to the maximum pressure, that's when things do fall apart.
Oren. Spotted.
And things are going to be so much down to execution now. Noguri going for this Prowler's Claw build, it is so glass cannon. If you can find that perfect flank, you can really make it happen. But if you cannot, you are just going to be useless.
Oh, another culling to come through, and that is a back massage that they didn't ask for. Still, Ruler going to back away, and this is just the poke Lucian style that he's played all year long.
And we talked about Gen.G, or Damwon rather, not getting any Drake, so Gen.G can peel off Drake. What if they just take the Drake and they're going to be at like 27 minutes soul point with an Infernal Soul? Because I agree. I think if you look at the item break points, the only one that is remotely strong on the side of Damwon is Noguri, and maybe if we look at the Bloodthirster finish, I think Dogdom can have an impact. But
this is a squishy Renekton, remember? And so Doran, starting to feel himself, can do a lot of work onto Noguri.
And you just look at the vision, right? As I was highlighting, there's really just some very shallow vision. They have nothing kind of across that midpoint here. It's very difficult for Damwon to be able to get their way in, but clearly they want to contest here. They are moving up, and Ruler!
Just dashing forward. Canyon has to try and get himself out, but he is out of this fight completely. Boulder Toss flying forward from the Gnar.
They're going to keep going.
Yeah, they are on this Drake already, and you can see now it's a mini Gnar trying to play bodyguard, but the gravity field's going to be there as well. Chaos Storm going to come through, so many flashes, going to try and get Damwon Kia out, and Noguri is sowing. Oh, the Prowler's Claw, but it is just a Nami, and going 1-for-1 Nami for Renekton. You're probably okay with that if you are Gen.G, but it might give Damwon the in. They're not wanting to go for any sort of flip. This 4v4 is something that Gen.G want to try and take themselves, given the health bars. But like you say, Dogdom, no Moonlight Vigil now, but he's still dangerous. Meanwhile, on the top side, Showmaker is just soloed out by Doran. He's not done yet, as he's now trying to fight Dogdom, but that could be dangerous to all of its great. And now, Ruler shows up. Gen.G should be able to get to the soul point, and it's a double kill outside of it. Oh my god, never mind. Canyon secures the Drake.
That is actually so big, because that should have been Gen.G at soul point there. Still, it's moving more and more towards Gen.G, and they're going to go for the Baron here. Can he use both his smite charges? Because he used one on the Gromp to heal up, so he has no smite here for a little bit. We'll see if they can get there.
Health bars are low. Showmaker's teleport is alive in 8 seconds. Do see Canyon making his way over. Will get spotted though.
Oh, and Canyon now in trouble. Does manage to get the Blades reach, and it's doing a lot of work as far as that healing is concerned as well. Doran now with the Nabot charging up Noguri, trying to get on top of Lahens, but there's the Umbral Trespass. The Baron! It's actually peeled away from, but still, Nami once again dead, but Kane's also going to go down. Now no jungler.
Yep, no jungler, but the health bars are too low, and the resets have come through, so they can't actually do it. So you get both sums off Lahens, you kill him, you do trade back Cadian, but you prevent that. And we have to watch here one more time. The culling cooldown was actually so key because this fight was so extended that it did come back up. But you look at the initial play, Noguri going in and just deleting him.
And that's what you have to do when you play this Renekton build, right? You see why it's valued. The problem here, though, is that in the extended fight, we see the range advantage is big, and Dokdam doesn't have IE yet. Used his Moonlight Vigil early on, and Doran, as you pointed out in the past, Atlas has done this, finds it here on Nar as well. But this might end up, if Dom1 pull it back, this might be a game. This is a heist.
Peanut didn't even know, I think, until way too late. And Cadian finished.
60.
Oh, wait, did he finish it with an auto? Did he not even have his smite?
It was an auto.
Yeah, I think he didn't even have his smite, and Peanut knows, and he's like, no, darn it.
How dare you?
But
One
still in a good spot.
Drake, not exactly
It's
going
still
to
a
be the end
big
of the
win
world.
for Gen.G.
But I will say, that could be a difference maker because that buys them time, right? Now you have Dokdam inching closer and closer towards IE, and he is going IE third. It's not an LDR build. He already has the BF sword.
Oh dear, Dokdam, he's just going to get 100 to 0 during that CC. Peanut finding the angles after such a sad game 4 to come back and find these opportunities. Amazing work from Peanut. As now Damwon Kira looking for it onto Doran. We're going to cut the video. We don't want to look at it as Gen.G are going to push in on this inhibitor turret. Yeah, he's actually lasting a very long time as the Umbral Trespass comes in. Yeah, exactly right. He's going to have the Mega Gnar available as well. Pushes Canyon away, but Noguri is going to dive on top. But still, look at the amount of space that he's bought. The inhibitor is going to be the trade. What is it? Base for Gnar? You're probably not going to want that.
Oh my God, the chase there, it's such a commitment. I thought Tubu were gonna back off, so I thought he would actually get out. They do get the kill, but you're losing your tier 3, plus the mid lane inhibitor there for just the 1 kill onto the Gnar. It even cost them the flash on Canyon, I believe, and now Gen.G out of the map here, trying to reclaim all of the vision control around the Baron.
I don't want to lose either of these teams. Can we make it a best of 7? Is that okay? Can
Yes,
we do
please.
more?
I'm down.
Yeah,
we'll
right?
make an executive
Everyone,
call
can
here.
We
Best of
build
7?
a losers bracket right now.
Come on.
Let's just build it right now. You can hold it at my house. I'm okay with it.
We'll go back to Freak's Basement, just like season 1.
Yes, please,
No
please.
problem. We can do that.
Yeah.
As overall, there is so much to be said. Every single time these two teams have faced, it's been incredible. But you know who came out on top?
It was Gen.G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling that way.
Yeah, I mean, they are looking like they are in such a good spot. The pressure is on for Damwon. They need to find one of those big plays here. I mean, Chovy is just so monstrously ahead here. A full completed item up on Showmaker. The Syndra is just really not threatening whatsoever. So, you know, if you're trying to craft a way to win the fights, I think it has to be about creating space for Dokdam, finding one of those incredible Inferno Maltas, or Noguri getting into the backline and instantly killing someone like Ruler. It has to be a big target. It can't just be Lahens.
It goes back to the adaptation that both Damwon and Gen.G have shown in the best of 5. Because initially, it was Ban Yuumi, as we found out after 2 games.
Yeah.
Shocking turn of events. But then, it was Damwon's early jungle pressures. Oh, Showmaker.
Peanut has just found Showmaker here. Of course, ulting the Sejuani is something you definitely don't want. The ult is going to go wide, but the Permafrost is still going to be there. Doran wrapping around. Canyon will turn up. The Boomerang's good to slow Canyon down, but Scatter the Weak is fantastic, and Gen.G going to have to back away.
But I mean, look how unthreatened he is, right? Like, yes, he does
doesn't
straight out his
care.
ulti, but he
He
has
is
a
a
lot
monster.
of CDR and just kind of walking straight at Showmaker. And this is the problem. It's like, sure, if Showmaker could get a full ulti on Ruler, that would matter. But barring that, you pop it on Chovy, he's gonna Zonias. You pop it on Peanut or Dorian, they don't care. It's so difficult for Showmaker to get towards the targets that he really needs to access unless they can control vision and have their opponents face checking into them. But then you look at the vision, and again, it's so difficult, right? Like, there's 0 wards in this entire side of the map. There's nothing there for them to really be able to kind of create those pockets where they could find a pick.
Well, now Gen.G are going to be able to take their first Infernal Drake of the game. That will be Soul Point now, but you can see Damwon Kia not actually going to challenge for it. They use this time, right, to try and build up to get that opportunity, and there is the IE from Doc Dom.
Do you believe?
That's if you're a Damwon fan, if you're on Damwon, you have to, because he is your ticket to the semifinals. I don't think anyone else can get you there. It has to be Doc Dom stepping up in this key moment. I don't think that Canyon or Showmaker can do it from this positioning.
What about Serrated Dirk that's just being completed?
Cyrilda? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, Cyrilda.
Cyrilda's.
Well, I mean, that's a one-shot waiting to happen if you can get to Ruler, but if it's on Chovy and he gets an early Zonias...
Peanut.
We've seen this play before. He's just going to dive right on top of Kellen. He's an afterthought. Ruler's just going to tap him on the way out. Doc Dom does have some decent long-range guns as Canyon going to be spotted on the flank. And Gen.G, yeah, they're going to take the first kill and see if they can take down the jungler. That would mean Baron, and that could mean the game. And Canyon, he's got Shadow Step. Very difficult to catch up, but still. Gen.G just going to try and bring him to them, I guess. Could certainly do that by just starting off the Baron.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Think that, especially with Kellen still down, a lot of the defensive power available for Doc Dom is not there.
Well, Ruler look. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay, well, Showmaker is now very low on health as Peanut's going to face check, but he can do that. Tidal Wave comes through. Doc Dom looking for his opportunity. Moonlight Vigil is going to find nothing. On the flank is Canyon, but oh my god, the scan of the week! Damwon Kia, they found it one more time. Chovy, he goes golden as now Peanut's trying to do it. Can Chovy get there? Doc Dom needs to know he's not going to. And Damwon Kia, they may have found their way back in, and they might have just won the series.
And I said he couldn't do it, but I should never have doubted Canyon. The 3-man knockup into the scat of the week, and Damwon are back into the game. The Baron will be theirs, and we are witnessing one of the best series we have seen in so long.
As Nuggery just says, I don't care, I don't need Baron buff. And unironically, in this Red Bull Baron power play, that Cyrilda's grudge finish is the reason why Peanut goes to, like, what is it,
He almost got one shot.
40% health here. Like, look at this. I can't believe it's Renekton.
It's the Empower W, the first there, the PTA procs, it amps the damage here, but then watch the top of your screen. It's all about Canyon. As they group up, they come forward. Look at this knockup. He finds the positioning. 3-man knockup. Ult into scatter from Showmaker. He hits everyone. 4-man scatter there. I doubted him. I never should have. Canyon and Showmaker make it happen. Items be damned. Game state be damned. These guys are so clutch. It is unreal.
Look at Zephyr's face. You can see Bertle in the back there as well. Just mind-blowing. And I agree, 100%. Because when I saw that Moonlight Vigil go wide, I was like, pack it up, boys.
The range of emotions.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And score.
Oh, I mean, they know what that means. That was a 1K shutdown, by the way, on Chovy. That went into the pocket of Canyon. Not exactly the guy you want to be getting back in the game here. Doc Dom as well now has the Last Whisper completed. Showmaker's damage. That ulti into scatter, everything connected on everyone. Everyone was so grouped up. They all get knocked up. They all get AoE'd there by Showmaker. That was like the ideal fight. You couldn't have drawn it up better for Damwon. It's just unreal that they found the angle.
And it's not over enough.
That's enough, right?
Might not be, right? You know, it's 1 minute here. Gen.G just need to collect themselves. Stay calm. You're still playing from a point of power here. You're still a little bit up in gold, but the Baron buff does do a lot to eliminate that, and they will still have it when the Dragon spawns.
And now it's going to be Damwon Kia's turn to face check Gen.G. As Doc Dom just walking towards Peanut. Not a lot of fear on this man with that full shield built up from his Bloodthirster. Gen.G move back towards that Fog of War. 35 seconds on Infernal Soul.
One key thing to note, Dokdom, no flash. That is so massive if they can find the angle to get in on him. But a lot of the playmakers on the side of Gen.G don't have flash either.
They're once again just going in on top of Peanut. He might have just been caught out of position here as Lahens wants to find a heal. The tidal wave, have they overextended? The answer is no, he just gets trespassed. Canyon flashes away and they lose their jungler. That is going to mean no Drake and Damwon Kia. They extend it again.
And the key thing here is that Gen.G sure is at soul point, but that only buys you time, and if every subsequent fight keeps going the way of Damwon Kia, at some point the hesitation, the fear has got to set in, and for Gen.G, I don't know what's worse, losing those 2 games or feeling like you're losing control of this one.
I think it has to be this one because
All
they were
of the
playing
above.
from such a point of power. Peanut here, was this a failed Q into the wall? It did look like it. Did he get knocked? Oh, it's the scatter. It interrupts it. The scatter interrupts him going over the wall into the knockup. Again, Showmaker and Canyon, they can't keep getting away with it.
They can't. I can't believe that Showmaker, after the early game where Chovy had looked so good, like,
how?
I don't know, Azale.
He's not human.
I think he is. I'm having a look. He's right there.
He's not human, he's a polar bear. I don't know what you guys are talking about. As now, Damwon Kia being able to stack, especially if they get a third or even possibly a fourth with how this game is going. I don't know if it's ever going to end. Infernal Drake is going to give them so much offensive power, and I do think that they might run into issues with things like the Renex and like the Syndra if you don't have burst potential. But right now, they're feeling completely fine.
Look at this though, death cap completed there for Chovy. Ruler now has that GA as well. He's on 4 items. The 2 key carries here on Gen.G's side, still having great games and are really picking up those itemization. You know, they're looking really, really good. You look at Showmaker, he's still an entire death cap behind Chovy. So yes, Damwon is getting some momentum. Yes, they are playing really well from this point, but if Chovy can have one good team fight on the Victor, that may be all they need to really close this one out.
It's not just Chovy, Ruler as well, as you point out. Like, the amount of defensive itemization for Gen.G as a whole is the one thing that Damwon somehow need to play around. And it's, as much as I think Doctor or Noguri and Showmaker have been pivotal, it's gonna go down to the consistent damage that he's able to do in a fight. Because just the burst, I think with the itemization that Gen.G has, will not be enough.
We have to remember the last team fight that they took as well, the Moonlight Vigil went wide.
Yeah.
This is a 4-item Aphelios. If that hits, like, everyone's dead, and it's possibly just game over. And especially from this point in the game, it almost definitely is. This Canyon be able to get out of there, no worries. I
mean, the pressure is just mounting and mounting and mounting. Noguri closing in on his GA. It is now complete. That is massive for him because you are just a torpedo on this champion, right? You go in, you try to one-shot someone, and then you die. The GA really allows you to play in such a way that it's very difficult. But you can see Gen.G trying to invade, take over the top side jungle here. Are really trying to make it difficult, but Canyon!
Well, Ruler is just going to dash on in. The Umbral Trespass is going to come down as well, and he has to get out early. He is going to do so. Wild Growth, it will keep the Kane alive, but that is a defensive cooldown that they will no longer have. Inner turret goes down. Damwon Kia, everyone's alive.
And they didn't have the Renex in there, so Gen.G smell a moment of weakness, get themselves a quick turret, and here you also see the advantage in terms of range that they have. If the Victor can just freely poke, Noguri, he's fine. He's a crocodile, makes his way to the water.
And there's a grand total of 0 wards from Damwon in that topside jungle. They have nothing, no vision whatsoever. They are getting choked out, and that is where it gets dangerous. They do know with mid prio now, some of Gen.G's show. So Canyon moves in, tries to retake that vision control. That is LDR done now, and stopwatch is available for Dokdom. He also has the flashback. These summoners become so critical in the later stages.
As you said, it's all execution now, right? Like, we're pretty much dead even. Both these teams have like great scaling parts. I know.
He's lying in wait.
He's underneath the water. He is getting closer.
Yep. Nostrils poking
Nostrils
out.
flaring. Absolutely.
You can feel it. It's very, very frightening. And now with the GA, he could possibly get 2 rounds of spells, which I think is way too many. Even one was doing so much damage. As now Canyon looking for Peanut off to the side. Peanut still looking for these angles.
Showmaker has even popped a potion here, you know, knowing that it's potentially going to come down to this one fight. You know, this late in the game, 40 minutes in, the death timers get very, very long. If you have a wave, it could be it.
Dokdom gonna have to get out of the way of that one. Does do so. Gale Force now on cooldown. Canyon also not taking too much damage here. Noguri still just trying to make sure that he stays in the dark. But all of these death rays from Chovy hurt so much. And now this could be it. Noguri on the flank, wants that opportunity. Doctor not going to be stunned by the gravity field. Still just out of range of it. Gen.G staying. Phalanx complete. Noguri and Canyon off to the side. Ruler thinks he may have spotted the flank here. Does do so. Tightcaller's blessing comes down as well. Another double tap. The Canyon survives. And Kia, they're just going to move over. They want to grab themselves. This Baron is... Oh, Canyon! Going to get caught out by the knob, but it's only one for Doran. That is not enough value. Exactly. Doctum holding onto it, though. The culling up again as well here for Ruler.
That is critical. There's no Meganar for a while now, but Gen.G do have mid-prio. They're going to try to pull Doctum and the rest of the team back towards them. Will Don look for a fight here? Canyon has healed up.
If you're going to use an ultimate, though, Doran's ult is the one you want to use, because it's already back.
But the key thing here is Drake is up, Ruler is soloing it, and that might be Infernal Soul here for Gen.G.
Yeah, now Peanut's going to spot Canyon moving out. The rest of Gen.G are going to respect Kia as the flash comes through from Chovy.
Wait.
It should be, as can Canyon do it again? The culling flies down, they want it. Oh! Canyon does it again, but can they win the fight? Here's the question, Doran. Is there with ulti available. Doctum is so scary.
No flash.
Nami for Renekton. Showmaker also dead. Doctum once again misses the Moonlight Vigil. The fight is won, but how does he get away with this?
Come on!
Canyon is just so insane. The best jungler in the world. There is no shot. He keeps pulling it off. He gets through, he steals it away. That is 3 straight Infernals. This is starting to be a problem. The amount of additional ADAP this late in the game is massive for a Syndra and a Aphelios. He has been such a difference maker, even when set behind.
Starting to be a problem. Did you see what Noguri did to the enemy backline? That's insane.
Oh.
It must be so scary to be a Nami in this game.
Absolutely.
I have to say.
Look. Oh my
Oh
god.
no, I mean, Peanut just gave him a taxi straight to it.
Yeah.
Peanut walked back towards it while he's in the Umbral Trespass, so he was in
Look
the
at this.
ulti.
Watch this. You think, okay, we proc TA. We're fine. No problem. We're winning the fight. What?
Yeah, I mean, that's some damage there, for sure. Nice side step from Doran, keeps himself alive. But we've got to track again. So what summoners were spent? So Showmaker, Canyon, Noguri, all down their flashes. Chovy down a flash, Lahen's down a flash, Doran down a flash. So Ruler and Doctum critically do still have it. Both mid laners are missing it. You look at the damage done, I mean, it's been all Gen.G, but it's not the way the fights are looking.
Nope. It's what happens in these 5v5s. It's the most pivotal. And even though Chovy and Ruler are so far ahead, a lot of it is incidental. A lot of it is that poke damage. Boomerang coming through one more time here for Doran. And Kia, I think they're looking for their opportunity to find this fight. Doctum, great team fighting guns right now. The extra range, that Calibrum, going to be available. Crescendum there as well, very, very important. Gen.G just standing behind Peanut.
It's knowing as well, like this is game 5, we're 42 minutes in. If you make one mistake, the game ends.
It's over.
That's it. It's immediately done. But as Damwon especially, you don't really have any hard engage. You only have pick.
Look
so
at this
their
ward.
movements.
The ward to the left, Chovy standing on top of it. They are going to sweep it out.
It's also worth noting that Showmaker has been on 3 items for so long, and he has no gold. He's been spending all of his gold on sorcery elixirs because he is feeling that it is all about this next fight.
Every fight is the next fight.
Exactly, but it means that his item progression has completely halted, right? It had been a full death cap advantage for Chovy for a long time.
They're going to turn onto Canyon. Another Umbral Trespass is going to come in as the ulti goes completely wide. The culling into the back of Canyon, though. Wild Growth keeps him up. A lot of cooldowns now have been used, but it's on both sides of the rift.
That might be Baron, but Damwon, they don't want to give him the space. They immediately rush towards mid. Canyon now going to find a camp, going to be able to heal up.
Yep, going to go towards that Bramble back now with the red buff available as well. Even more regen as Gen.G slink off towards this Baron. The burst damage probably not there. Damwon smelling blood in the water. Doran just going to walk his way out Dead Man's Plate. That extra movement speed, very important.
Taking the red was so critical because Canyon didn't have an extra smite charge, so he couldn't actually spend the smite to heal up. So he takes the red buff there to get that regen in, but he doesn't have the ulti and they have no vision. They are choked out.
Oh dear, Canyon gonna have to dash away.
Running.
It is a little bit, the Reaping Slash is not a lot of distance, but he still gets out.
No
Scatter
side
the
lane.
weak, just barely. Yeah, side lanes don't exist.
Everyone in mid.
Stop talking about those, Chronicler. This is the K-Ram. That's where we exist now. 5,000 gold, the lead for Gen.G, but it is so irrelevant. And now, Gen.G going to try and burst this down. It is so late in the game, this Baron should just be gone. We can see already down to 5,000 Canyon. If you do it again. Oh my, okay. This time Peanut secures the objective. Canyon now fighting towards this backside. Peanut back towards the rest of his teammates. Gen.G still needing to get out. Another Umbral Trespass is going to come in. The ulti brilliant from Peanut this time as Canyon gets another double knock-up. But it is not the 3-man, and it doesn't have the follow-up.
Go in.
Dr. still has ultimate available. They don't quite know where he is now, they do. And now Nogari on the in the back line. Peanut trying to get him out. Scatter the Weak connects. And there's the Moonlight Vigil immediately. Chovy goes golden. Doran gonna do the same thing now. It's, oh my god! Chovy gets rid of Canyon, but the answer is still there. Dr. Ruler, can he do it? Yes, he can! Ruler turns it on its head. Oh my god! A quadra kill! And Ruler will get past the quarters. He will take Chovy with him. And Gen.G have done it.
Ruler takes over the game! The quadra kill! In the moment where it matters most! He dashes in, he knocks down Dogdom, and he is sending Gen.G to the World Championship semi-finals!
Ruler broke the 2K kill record in the LCK. It took him 5 years to get an LCK title. And here he is. Look at the smiles. Gen.G. They get it done.
Look at Peanut, the absolute elation. And Doran just bouncing up and down. This is a Gen.G that are